Hello, good morning, friends, family, good people, fans of the PJ Sun podcast. What's going on? It is Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. Good to be talking to you guys again. Hope you're having a great morning. It is morning now, 08:25. Just got done with a little morning workout. Went on my stupid night shifts. Not going to bitch and complain to you guys about my night shift problems because, I have a job and I'm grateful for that. At the same time, my head feels like it swells up to twice its size. And even right now, there's not a lot of traffic on the Mississippi River with weather and everything. You never know if another ice storm is going to come, blah, blah, blah. I talked to the guys about it. Here I just said I'm not going to bitch you guys about it, but I am. I talked to some of the guys about it. The strange thing is that what is the difference in 12 hours? So if you spend your 12 hours of the day being awake during the daytime or during the nighttime is what I'm asking. The earth has spun. We're on a different side of the sun. I understand those physical changes in the universe that we float in, but how much different is it? How much different is it to be awake from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.? It really doesn't seem that much different. The question I'm asking is stupid, and there's a lot of data saying it's bad for you, but there's the guys that are perfectly fine with it. They would rather. I just don't understand it. I am very much a morning person. Love waking up in the morning and getting going and being productive. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't seem to figure it out. And I got a few years under my belt of trying, and I still am not good at it. So I'm bitching to you. Thanks for listening. So just got off a few night shifts and had to get back in the routine. I did well this stretch as far as my diet and working out goes. So that I'll give myself, but I'm bitchy and my head hurts and it sucks. It sucks. And then, Sunday night was my last night shift. So Monday's basically a wash. I mean, sometimes I can get up and get moving, but a lot of the times that next day is kind of a wash for me. Sleep till and that's a problem. I get home at 5:30, get just chilled out a little bit, by 6, maybe get the kids on the bus. Maybe Alicia take care of that anyway. Get to bed by 6:30, actually fall asleep, and then up at 11:30. And then maybe I'll fall asleep a little bit after that, but it's just, so that first day after night shift is kind of a wash for me. I'm not too productive. And, but yesterday was a little different. I got on here today to tell you a story. I wish Alicia was on this one with me, but as much as we live together, that sounded weird. Obviously we live together, but sometimes schedules don't align to where even my own wife can come downstairs and talk with me. So, but it would be better, and maybe we'll do it again where she can tell her side of the story, because it's a doozy. So, as I just mentioned, yesterday was all right, I got home Monday morning at 5:30, okay? Drawing a picture, painting a picture. Get home 5:30 Monday morning. Get to bed 6:30, actually fall asleep 6:30, whatever it is. Let's see. What time did the call come in yesterday? Oh, as a matter of fact, I'll look at the text. Whew. Okay, at 11:31, my life gets a little weird. I'm sleeping. Alicia goes into the office, you know, with her stepdad. Been in her life forever. It's her dad, but she also has a biological dad. Anyway, this one's her stepdad. He's in the hospital right now. We'll talk about that. That also kind of relates to this. So Alicia goes into the office instead of working from home. Kids are off school yesterday. What was that? President's Day? I don't know, fucking holidays. Kids are off school. So, she doesn't want everybody to have to, be quiet all day and stuff. So she goes into the office to work and go right across the street to the actual hospital, visit her dad. When I get home at 5:30 Monday morning, I am very aware with 100% certainty that all of my children are at home. Okay, so this is going to be a little hard to, there's going to be questions in this that I'm going to try to fill in, but just let me keep going. All my kids are at home sleeping. They're old enough now. They know that I need some rest and stuff. They don't bother me during the day. They know to go ahead and make breakfast or whatever you got to do. If there's an emergency, come in and get me, no problem. At 11:30, Savvy, my youngest, comes in. Obviously, my phone's on silent, so I don't know anything's going on. Savvy comes in and says, "Dad, Alicia is trying to get a hold of you. It's an emergency. You need to call her." First thought is my father-in-law. We're very optimistic that he's going to make it out of there. And, we got an apartment set up for him. We're working on like future plans. So he's not on hospice or anything like that. Didn't take great care of himself, smoked for a long time. You know the story. Good man, great man, love the guy. So, but that's still my first thought. I didn't look at my text messages. I just called my wife straight away. Again, my first thought, I already knew what she was going to say. I'm like, okay, something bad happened, and we'll deal with it. And she needs my support right now more than ever. I call Alicia, and she says, "Babe, Chevelle just got kidnapped. She's being raped and will probably be killed." Hysterical. She is fucking hysterical, as well she should be. I am on, maybe 5 hours of sleep. Just woken up out of a fog. Like, it's not your normal 5 hours of sleep. So I'm just like, what the fuck? Savvy is in my room. You know how when somebody's on the phone, you can hear what they're saying, even if it's not on speaker sometimes, if it's quiet enough, right? So Savvy is listening to all of this. Alicia is just hysterical. And like, who knows what any of this fucking means from my perspective? What, like, first of all, what you said isn't real. I know that much, right? Or that's what I'm thinking. Like, did you just say what I think you said? Because that warrants some, like, aggressive behavior on my part. Not to Alicia, but when somebody says anything like that about one of your children, I go straight to, you can imagine, right? And so I'm like trying to get my stuff together, my just thoughts together. Now Savvy is getting hysterical because she knows my reaction. She can hear Alicia freaking out. Well, she already heard it because Alicia had to call Savvy because obviously, Alicia knew I wasn't awake just looking at my phone. So Savvy is very emotionally in tune with other people. She is like one of those people that yeah, she's like really good with animals and like she feels a lot of things, and she's a trip. But so, and much less her stepmom is just bawling and like freaking out, right? So it doesn't take a genius, but Savvy's she's in tune with motherfuckers. Um, so I'm trying to figure all this out, right? So, okay, all right, sorry. I obviously Savvy's in my line of sight. Here comes Cash. What's going on? Cash is a fixer, much like his dad tries to be. Whatever the details are, tell me what I can do to help and fix, right? And so I can see two of my kids. Alicia has just told me something to the effect of I let her leave, or like, and this is what I mean by why she should probably be here, because I think I know what I heard, but when her and I talked about it when she got home briefly, it was a little different. Maybe it doesn't even matter. But okay, so Dom, why, where would Chevelle be at 11:30? Good question. But the way this would generally go, if Chevelle wanted to leave the house, she would know that but she would know to call Alicia, like, hey, Alicia, Skylar and her mom are going to could I go with them? Alicia would go, yeah, just, blah, 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 blah. In retrospect, none of this makes any sense, but just, you don't know yet, right? So it's not the weirdest thing in the world that Chevelle got up, even though it's 11:30 and she sleeps. I mean, she's a sleeper these days, growing up, it's not the weirdest thing that she could have been going somewhere. It's just that I don't know anything about what's going on. I don't know where my head is in the universe. Like, I'm just out. And so I'm on the phone with Alicia, and she's talking to, smart enough, like she went over to the hospital. I don't know the whole story. She found law enforcement. She finds people to help her, and law enforcement like gets this number from her. Anyway, she said, I got to go to talk to the police or something to that effect, right? And so, because she had to give them her phone so they could get this number and start doing what they're supposed to be doing. Meantime, I'm thinking, okay, I got a couple people I can call that can help with things like this. I got a couple bad people I can call to take care of fucking problems like this. But let's start with my good people first. Not going to name them for their, security and stuff, but like people that you can call when problems like this come up and you need to get information and, I want to figure out where this call came from. Let's get to the bottom of that, and then I'll go get my daughter on my own. Before I do that, I call Chevelle's phone. I'm hoping that the kidnapper will answer her phone, just because I want to have that conversation like in that Taken, the Liam Neeson. I have this fantasy, I guess, about how I've acquired this set of skills that allow me to make your life, whatever the fuck he said, but it was dope. But, I wanted to call and see if this motherfucker would answer, because little does he know, whatever he was asking, Alicia said, I think 150 grand or 25 grand or something like that. I got that in cash right here. Just tell me where you are and I'll meet you there, was my plan. If you want money, I'm the one with the money. I just have cash all over the place, people. You don't know me. I got $200 million in cash just sitting around waiting for a ransom call. So I was going to just tell this motherfucker whatever he wanted to hear. I'm going to go, yeah, dude, I got to get the cash from my basement. I got a fucking safe or something, whatever. I'll meet you there. Just tell me anything I got to do to get my daughter back, which is true. I don't have the cash. I'm saying that part's fucking false, but I will lie to everybody on here to get my kid back. And so would you. I call Chevelle's phone. Now, Savvy's still not handling things. Dad, what's going on? I'm like, babe, I just need a second. I need to think. I've got to like wake up, you know? People that talk about like, don't even, I haven't had my coffee or whatever the fuck. I don't drink coffee, but like I needed something, right? My pre-workout or something to get moving. Like my brain is just slow. So I call Chevelle's phone and it goes to her voicemail. And her voicemail is just this happy girl that I know. And hey, Chevelle. And she like, you know. And my heart just like breaks. And I'm just like, dude, if somebody has actually kidnapped and like this fucking asshole said is raping and going to murder my daughter, you know, well, I'm not even cool enough to say like I'm gonna fucking, I would just lose it. Just lose my whole shit. Like what? The thoughts going through your head and like seeing your child's face and being really scared and horrified and someone hurting your poor kid, whatever age they are, it doesn't fucking matter. It's just the worst. It's just the worst thing ever. Ever. You know, as parents, it's like even them breaking their arm and shit is pretty, you know, I mean, it's fine. They're going to be okay. Come on, let's get to the doctor. But like something like this, dude, it's so out of my control. A kidnapper has called my wife talking about a ransom and what he is and is going to do to my firstborn baby girl. And I am completely helpless. I don't know where anyone is. I don't know who she left with. I have zero information other than what Alicia has just told me, hysterically crying. And that's all. And then I've got these two other kids looking at me like, what happened? You know what I mean? Try to get into my head. You almost feel hungover. I almost feel hungover after these things. So like now go to a decent hangover, not your worst hangover ever. It's not that bad. After night shifts I'm talking about. But it's a good one. It's a good hangover. And I'm like, what in the fuck? So as I said, I call Chevelle's phone, I get her voicemail, and I'm just like, I'm not slipping. I'm still focused on getting a hold of her, getting a hold of him, setting up some kind of a meetup thing where of course I won't call the police, and get the guns out, load up the truck, leave the kids here with the dog, go to your neighbor, you know, like I got a plan for them real quick at and I just need a location and I'm on my way. I'm running red lights. I'm fucking, you know, the worst case scenario for a father who's willing to do pretty much anything. I'm standing at my door, my room, me, Cash Savvy. I'm trying to like call Alicia, I think again. Oh, Alicia called me back maybe. I look up and Chevelle's standing right in front of me. Did I make you guys hang on long enough for that one? I mean, fucking come on, dude. I look up and my daughter, who is kidnapped, being raped, and is going to be murdered, is 2 feet from my face. Dude, the level of oh shit. That feeling of everything's gonna be okay, and like when you think something bad happened and it didn't, fill the blank in for me, please. I look up and she goes, Dad, I'm right here. Chevelle had seen the missed call from me. She probably was sleeping, I'm sure. But I know that she heard the case. Like, I'm not quiet, especially when I think this is going on in my life. I wasn't quiet for sure. Savvy was, you know, emotional. Cash is wondering what to do. So she's in her room. I guess Savvy didn't know this. Savvy wakes up early. None of this makes sense, you guys. None of this makes sense looking at things logically. She's like, I call Alicia and I go, dude, Chevelle's right here. What the fuck? I'm like, she's right here in front of me. I'm holding, like, I grab Chevelle at this point. I love all my kids equally, obviously, but it's like when you think that kid is somewhere happening, like something bad happening to him, you know, so I grab her, I'm just like holding her, like, now I'm like, is something wrong with fucking Alicia? Like, what? What just happened to me? What just happened to my daughter and my wife? Like, what just happened? But Chevelle's standing in front of me. Chevelle's not kidnapped. No one's hurting her. She is right in front of me, just as confused as I am. And it's just, it was just the craziest shit. So I'm on the phone with Alicia. She's talking to law enforcement. And of course, this is one of those things like, you know, when the people, not just Africa, it's not a fucking race thing, but like it happens a lot. They'll call American older people, right, and go like, or emails, you know, you've seen or heard about those emails like, oh, this is the Prince of fucking Nairobi or something, and we need your help, and if you can send us $20,000, we'll send you back 25. It's all a hustle. It's all extortion. And so when I confirm that Chevelle's standing in front of me, I physically have contact with my child. Like I'm not tripping. I'm not dreaming, which for a second, I kind of thought could be a possibility. Because if Alicia knows for sure that she had left the house, let's say Alicia gave her that permission to leave earlier. Yeah, you can go with your buddy or whatever. I know I'll let your dad know when he wakes up. Like that was what I was thinking was happening. But come to find out, like, no one was on the Ring doorbell. Alicia would have seen, if let's say Chevelle got some fucking balls on her and thought she could just leave here without telling an adult, which I don't think she would do. Chevelle's like very much follow the rules, and you know, if she wants to go somewhere, fine, but she's gonna let us know. All these kids here like are very much, communication's big, right? So they all know that. But let's say she found the nerve to just do what she wanted to. Alicia would have seen that on the Ring and been like, Sabby, go get your dad up. Where the hell did your sister go? A lot. None of it makes sense, people, is what I'm trying to tell you. The police get a hold of the number, call the number, and the number, when it comes up on the caller ID on Alicia's phone, says Creve Coeur. This is another little twist. Chevelle's fine, everybody. I hope that worked. I hope I fucked with you a little bit. It was meant to be that way, but she is fine. But it is a fucked up story. So the number comes up Creve Coeur. Sorry, I just had a sick thing. I'm kind of stuffy. The number comes up Creve Coeur, which is believable. So that's kind of another trip too, because Alicia thought maybe where she works, you know, that can be the number, the area code wise, right? It can say Creve Coeur. That would make sense. It could have been some of her dad's doctors. A specialist calling with more information about blah, 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 blah. Also, the dude said something to the effect of, meet me at Walmart on Manchester. If you don't live here, Manchester Road is not close to us, but it's not that far away from where Alicia works. None of that matters so much, but except the fact that he was using information that sounded reasonable. When I asked Alicia, she said it was a black man. When I said, was it like African? Like, could you tell he was an immigrant? Like, you know, that English wasn't his first language. Originally, I thought she said yes, but apparently she said no. He was kind of hood and okay, I'm sorry, I didn't add this in. Fuck. He also had a young girl with him. He also had a female with him who was crying and saying, "Mom, help me," type shit. That Alicia, like, just, you know, she knows what Chevelle sounds like for sure, but when like, can you imagine if your child or your wife or your girlfriend or your sister or a girl you know is being kidnapped and held, that maybe they would sound a little bit different? Maybe they're not going to be calm and go, "Hey, Leash, it's Chevelle, da 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 da." So like he had this is a whole extortion setup. Well played, right? And the dude also told Alicia she tried to call her dad, but I guess he's at work. So now Alicia again, she knows I'm sleeping. This dude, so if you think about it, you call a female, they generally can be, sorry, ladies, you get a little more hysterical, a little faster. It's your child. You should. It's a completely understandable emotion. But if you call a man, it's going to be like, listen here, motherfucker, you're going to get that Liam Neeson talk. So it's what you call a soft target. And rightly so. If Alicia was like going to the ATM, like she was, just tell me where and how, like, I'll get you whatever you want. Just, you can take me, just give me my kid. Da, da, da. She was doing what a mom's supposed to do. But, and she'll fill all this in, but like the dude started off saying like, ma'am, there was an accident. Your daughter, and then he mentioned something about having 5 keys of coke on him. He's a drug dealer. He had 5 keys of coke on him, and he's not going to get involved with law enforcement because then they're going to search his vehicle and he'll go to prison. So I can't call the police. So I got him in my truck. They're crying, but they're okay. And like all this weird shit that you're thinking, shut the fuck up, dude. No drug dealer, no drug mule, drug smuggler is going to tell some random person on the phone they got 5 keys of coke with them. I said the same shit myself. I've done that before. You don't tell anybody what you have with you, right? So none of that makes sense either. Again, Alicia got this call and freaking, she's at work in an office, freaking out. And then like the little girl or the female gets on the phone, like crying, saying mom and shit, and all this whole setup. It was well worked, but what you need from their point of view, from the motherfucker's point of view, is you need a person to not ask too many questions. Like, so say Alicia was at home and she turned around and go, all my fucking kids are right here in my house, motherfucker. Then the dude would have just hung up. Right. But when you do something like that, when you've got somebody on the hook, you just ride them out. All you want is for him to go all he wants is for you to go to the ATM, get as much cash as you can. He'll meet you into some parking lot, knock you out. I mean, you should have somebody with you, police or something, but knock you out real quick and then just take off with a couple $100. And if you think that nobody would do that for a couple $100, yes, they would. And also, this is probably why ATMs have the limits like this on them. It's got something to do with security for sure. Because if not, every idiot would just come at you with a gun, take me to your ATM, withdraw all the money out of it, and you're fucked. So there's a reason behind, and the dude even asked, how much can you get out of your ATM at once or something to that effect, right? So they're amateurs, but they, if you had the right victim, you could come off with, I don't know what everybody's limit on their ATM is. Some people might be able to get a couple grand to make a phone call. I mean, if you're thinking from a criminal's mindset, which you got to do sometimes, to make a phone call and scare the fuck out of some lady and get a couple grand for it, never be seen, never be heard of. It's a ghost phone, a ghost number, a burner phone. No one, I mean, hopefully somebody can track these motherfuckers down, but probably not. This shit happens all the time. So to make a couple grand off of one phone call, I mean, you just completely messed up some people's lives by fucking with them. Of course, all this is wrong, but I'm saying not a bad gig if you're a bad dude. What a way to wake up. Yeah, so the police get the number. They call it a robot number, the ghost number. It doesn't go anywhere. I'm sure they're traceable, but the police were telling Alicia that this is happening. I think it's been happening all the time. It just so happened to affect our lives. But it's a thing that obviously works, right? Excuse me. It's like the what's that thing when old people, when they like, oh, if you pay this, you'll make this kind of money, and they bring balloons and shit to your house, whatever that is. Uh, Obviously it works, or else it wouldn't still be a thing. So some people bite, and these dudes get money. It will work. The same, like I said, those princes, the princes that need, you let them, you send them 10 grand, they'll send you back 25,000, 250,000, whatever the number is. It obviously works, or else they wouldn't still be doing it, right? But yeah, so, I guess they can't find these people. It's public information. You can get anyone's number from anywhere. You can Google me. You can Google Alicia and find her phone number. I'm sure it's not even that difficult. They've got kids or last known residents from, taxes or whatever it is, the year 2023, they probably still live in the same area. So if you're smart enough at doing it, you can generally make someone feel like you know exactly who they are and where they live and what their kids do and where their kids go to school. If your kid's not in front of you and someone tells you a story that you don't know, and emotions and everything are high, you can start to believe all kinds of stuff. I wouldn't have questioned. Yeah, I would have. But I would have tried to just play the dude to my advantage so I could go kill him and get my kid. But I'm saying that the it can work. I mean, and I know I left some holes in that story. So the girl was crying, and then when Alicia started asking too many questions or wasn't cooperating like the guy wanted her to, he started getting real mean, and he was calling her names, and like, because I think if you're thinking about it from that perspective, when the plan's not going, you just want the person to roll over, bring you money, and then that be the end of it. You don't want them to start asking too many questions because now you're on the phone too much, right? And if you don't have a good lie and you don't have a good story, you're going to start falling apart. And I think the dude, when he knew that because boom, when you hit somebody once, they don't know how to react. Usually people are in a fog and they just like, what the fuck? But as they come to, they're going to start to be a little more rational and going, wait a minute, Chevelle didn't go anywhere. I just blah, blah, blah. So he started being real mean and calling her names and shit. And he said she was saying some pretty funny stuff that I don't want to. He was calling her a monkey over and over, which was funny. I guess it's not that funny. It's just a weird name to call a lady that you're trying to extort money from. I don't know. The whole thing is a little comical. It's not funny at all. But it's like when you think about who this fucking asshole is, he's sitting in his house with a female, and all right, we're going to call this lady and tell her we got her kid. So on my cue, you start crying. I think it's fucked up. It's really fucked up to do to somebody. I mean, I'm just like livid. So then me and the kids, and I'm like, you need to come home. And Alicia's like, I got to go back to work. And I'm like, go back to work, enough with the fucking work already. Because when stuff like this happens to her, she can kind of like freak for a little while, and rightly so again. But, yeah, I mean, just what a way to wake up. What a thing to think about. And then as a parent, as a father, me, maybe just specifically, I'll just talk myself. My job in this world is to provide, food, shelter, clothing, and security. And that helpless feeling, man, it's not one that I want to get used to or ever want to actually, this was a scammer dude thing, but in reality, if something like this ever happens, it sucks. It has got to suck. I can't imagine those people who, and you hear stories about the child has just never been found. never been heard of, that is misery. You know, that has got to be the worst thing in the world. One of them. Easy. Easy. It's up there somewhere. One of the worst things you could ever deal with as a parent. All the kids are okay. Alicia's okay. She was a little stressed for the day. And she gets home and we all kind of just meet up in the house, and you can't help but to go back over it and just kind of laugh. And even Chevelle was like, as if like I just leave here without telling you guys. And then Savvy puts in her little thing. So we all kind of like had a little, not funny at all, but it caught all of us off guard. What a trip. But yeah, I'm glad everybody's okay for sure. But later on we're all kind of like in the kitchen making dinner. So and so wants this, so and so wants that, and we were all just kind of in there together. And even though this was not like some life-threatening scare, I understand. From Alicia's point of view, it was. I felt that way until I saw Chevelle. After that, like I know that, okay, this is bullshit. But you do, man. You start to appreciate. It's just like, I can't have any. My mama used to always say, if something happens, every time we would leave each other, whatever, school, anything, like we had to tell each other, I love you. Even if you're mad, you say, I love you. Because if that's the last time you ever see each other, it's better to have that be the last thing that's said, right? And so I just started like just looking at all my kids in the kitchen, like doing their own individual thing. Cash is, whatever he was making, macaroni and hot dogs for fucking reason. And Savvy's figuring out lunch for school tomorrow. And Chevelle's eating grilled cheese I made for her. And, I'm like looking around at all these kids, like, sometimes it's such a pain in the ass and parenting is tough and you're pulled in all these different directions that I know I've said before. I don't know if I was wired from the jump to be doing this job. Obviously you have to do it and just fucking deal with it. But, it's tough. And then you look around some of those days and everybody's like getting along, or a fake kidnapper calls with a ransom for your daughter. And you just start to be like super grateful and thankful and all that stuff to have what you have. And yeah. So that was kind of yesterday, waking up after some night shifts. I'm back, dude. I had to run upstairs real quick. Alicia goes, who are you talking to? I said, my microphone. She said, you probably should have let me do that one with you. I said, I know, that's what I said, but you're at fucking work. Maybe she'll tell her side of it later. But then it'll be boring because you've already heard the story. So, what else is happening? Got my man Jamie coming over to get working down here on Cash's bedroom and bathroom. Looking forward to that. Like I was saying earlier, father-in-law's in the hospital. Oh, going back to the kidnappers, don't look out for these kind of things. Keep an eye on your kids. Because if something like that really happens, it's got to be fucking miserable. So stay vigilant, stay frosty. Yeah, we've been talking about health and stuff around here a lot too. With Danny Boy being in the hospital. Smoker forever. COPD, and he's had the stents put in his neck and in his legs, and like to a point where they can't put any more in. I think you can have so many anyway. And after he had to retire from practicing law, it took the wind out of his sails, man, and you could see it. he was always wanting to, go out and do stuff. And it sucks knowing a person who has all this, excuse me, not necessarily like motivation, but he always liked doing his yard work, and he always liked this and like that, and going out to eat was his big thing and stuff. And it's a bummer to see a dude that you love and respect very much not give up, but just not have that fight. And I'm gonna go see him a little bit later today, but just to hang with him. But Alicia and her sister Alex um, have, they're taking care of all the business side of it and stuff, and working really hard to make the transition out of the hospital, whether we go straight to rehab or we got them a new apartment, and we're getting that all kind of set up and stuff. But my point to the whole thing is, and I try to talk about it on here, not like some influencer, obviously, or anything like that, but just as much as health relates to your life, because I just don't think we know exactly what we're doing until maybe it's too late. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it's when I go to see him, he kind of chirps up a little bit because we talk like dudes when I go to see him. We went and watched the first half of the Super Bowl with him, and Alicia's like, it was the most kind of like alert and shit I've seen. And then he has good and bad days. Everybody going through all that, and he had that stupid flu thing. And just like oxygen, and just his lungs are trying to heal. Hasn't smoked since he's been in the hospital, obviously. So, it's a good thing. Will he start smoking again when he gets out? I hope not, but I don't know. And I can't make those kind of decisions for everybody. I would strongly advise against it. And now that he's going to be living a little closer to us, maybe we'll go for walks around a little apartment complex. And he was saying that it's only him and one other dude there. It's all a bunch of chicks. And I'm like, well, yeah, man. It doesn't sound like a bad deal. Even in your 70s, you ain't that fucking old. Single guy. Probably a bunch of single ladies there. Go play bingo. And he loves the kids so much. And likes just talking to them and hearing their little stories. And when Cash gets in trouble at school, he laughs. Oh, Dom, man, he's going to be fine. He's just being a boy. And he's right, and I get it. But as his dad, I got to do what I got to do. I can't wait to be a grandpa and say all this shit to my kids. Oh, fuck, you should have remembered, you don't remember when you were in 7th grade and 6th grade. And da-da-da-da. But just kind of finding that reason to just take care of yourself. And it's easy to not take care of yourself for sure. But it's not that hard to just like kind of eat right and not do certain things. I don't know where I'm going with this, but just take care of yourselves. Mentally, physically, emotionally. And I think you're going to get a lot of better, longer years in life. You want to see those grandkids. I think it's probably going to be fucking rad to be a grandpa. I'm looking forward to it. I don't plan on staying in Missouri, but the way Alicia and I have it planned out is we're going to go wherever we want to go, probably the desert, Arizona somewhere, and just fly the family out, so they can come stay with us, and we'll just be grandparents and let everybody do what we want or what they want. Just kind of hang. So shout out to Grandpa Dan. Get better. Get home. We're going to help you take care of yourself. What else? Sunday, the 25th, coming up. Today's Tuesday, like I said, the 25th. Jenny Andrade's coming in, my nurse practitioner from the testosterone clinic. So we're going to have an open, honest discussion about testosterone and um, just hormones in general, male mostly. And I hope she gets into it. She'll tell you whatever, tell me, I guess, whatever about female hormones and how females, it's not just for men who want to lift weights. Females, you guys go through your hormone stuff too, early menopause and all that shit. And I think, don't quote me on that for sure. I know very little about it, but I think hormonally you can get help with stuff like that. So we're gonna try to go through all of it. And as always, the goal is try to help some people. So that ought to be cool. That's the 25th. And then on the 28th, I am flying out to my reunion in California. Any would-be kidnappers, don't get any ideas that I'm going to be out of town. My wife is very knowledgeable and skilled and has passed all of the written and practical applications for firearm use. She has access to a lot of them, so don't get any fucking ideas. But yeah, so looking forward to that. I want to put this out there now, and then I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to do a podcast when I get home about the whole reunion and how I know how awesome and sad for sure. It's going to be very emotional for me. Happy about that part. I don't run from it because I have ran from it for 20 years. So I am very excited to hopefully find a little bit of closure. As you guys know, if you've been listening, if not, go back and I've talked about it. I wasn't able to go back. This is the 20-year reunion for the Battle of Fallujah. In 2004, I think deadliest place in the world, the most fucked up place in the world for sure. I can't imagine it's much better these days, but at least at least there's not a bunch of us there anymore. I wasn't able to go back with my guys. So that thing called survivor's guilt is, it's real. And I have had it, for 20 years. I got out in 2004 and they went over there. The bad motherfuckers of Echo 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, Echo Platoon, Echo Company, I'm sorry. And a lot of other people were there with 2-1. So to all of those guys. However, had I went back, I am pretty sure that I wouldn't be here today. So there is that, but that doesn't change a lot about my feelings. I know on paper that sounds easy to say. Well, dude, you stayed home with your mom. Most of your brothers that you talked to about it said they would have done the same thing. You should be happy that you weren't there because you're alive today and you have kids and you're healthy and you've got a wife and statistically you shouldn't be where you are today as far as professionally and monetarily and all that. Trust me, these are things I'm thankful for often. I do understand that those are facts, but it doesn't change anything. I think that there's something I could have done, and right or wrong, I hope to find some closure with that, and get to talk to my old buddies, and and have a good time and enjoy each other's company, and I mean, what's better than Southern California? Hopefully, the rain and the mudslides and all that crazy shit that those poor folks are dealing with has went away by a couple weeks from now, but. We'll see. I'm pretty sure Camp Pendleton's okay. But yeah, so that's another big one. But I want to bring it up now, and I'll bring it up again when I get back with more information. 3 brothers of mine. There's a lot more people involved, but these 3 brothers. I'm going to tell you all have started a nonprofit called Legacy Military Reunions. If you find them, I know that the website is taking off and it's kind of in its infancy, but what these guys are doing is they are raising money with this nonprofit to try to help and aid in the reunions of any and hopefully every military unit. I don't think it's just Marine Corps. I think it's military wide, to help get more units to have these reunions. I think that the positive, not I think, we all think, and I know for a fact that these reunions can be very helpful to guys. There's that ego thing, and then not wanting to face the music and the facts, and losing brothers, and the emotional trauma and shit that can come from all of that stuff that guys have to do. It is helpful. Again, closure or forgiveness or whatever the thing is. And they're not the only ones doing this, but they're my motherfuckers. So we're going to support him, you and I, and everybody we talk to. So they take donations, but they're like making hoodies and stuff. And, but basically that's the thing. When you buy hoodies, the proceeds go to, so here's the deal. Your cousin Brian was with 1-5, blah, 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 right? And those guys haven't gotten together, and they don't stay in touch so much, but there's a couple of them that do. And what you can do is somehow, and I'll get all the info, but go get a hold of Legacy, and they can help set up and support these other units getting together and to create that bond again, and get back to, having that team and stuff. And I think it's really helpful. So if you know anybody or yourself you'd like to donate, please visit Legacy Military Reunions. Again, I'll get all the information about social media. I don't have any of that, but I know they're on there or they're building. So I'm gonna be shouting them out on my podcast. That's my duty as someone who has gotten so much out of these things. So I'll get you all that info, and let's do what we can to maybe we can help one person who might be feeling suicidal, or just down and out, or drugs or alcohol, or whatever there's a number of things that we all kind of go through in one way or another. We'll see if we can help some people out. So looking forward to Sunday for sure, but that reunion one, it's going to be, there's a lot going on that I don't want to spoil for now. There's some speakers, and we're doing some really fun / respectful things. So I'll get back to you on all that, but I just wanted to check in with you guys and say hey, and tell you my fucking crazy story about yesterday. So I'm going to get going, and got some chores and stuff to do, a couple days off, go back to work for a few days, and then boom, I'm out of town for the weekend. So looking forward to that. Hope you guys are all well. Keep an eye on your children and your family, and every day is worth loving these people, because if something happens to them, whether they get old and in poor health, or they're young and some fucking asshole does something bad to them, let everybody know you love them. And like PJ said, man, the last thing you got to say to your people, even if you're fighting, is I love you before you leave. I think it's probably a really good thing that we can all do, and it's a nice thing to say to somebody if you are not seeing eye to eye before you go. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you tuning in as always. Oh, real quick, dude, I said on the last episode that we had 599 episodes. I meant downloads. We're over that now. We're at like almost 700 now. So Thank you. Thank you so much, man. I'm going to try to keep making noise and get this thing to take off. And, we're just going to try to keep helping people and having some fun, hopefully. And, uh, you know, all that stuff. So thank you very much. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I will talk to you soon. Take care and try to help somebody out and be good to yourselves too, man. It's important. All right. See ya.